Although traditionally the Last Supper is on Thursday evening, consider for now it's Tuesday evening. This is the eastern wall of the upper room, and from this you can actually see some of the foundations. We are just outside the walls of the old city, not far from Mount Zion. This is the eastern wall, and you can see many layers in its foundations. The Second Temple period, the Byzantine, the Crusader period, and the Ottoman period. The lower parts of the wall date to the late Roman period, and could even date earlier to the Herodian period. Jesus tells the disciples that he will die, but they just don't understand. Personally, I believe they just couldn't conceive that Jesus, who had already evaded the authorities, would now lose his life. We're just outside the staircase leading up to the upper room. Let's go inside. The Passover meal is also called a Seder meal. It's been generally thought that this Last Supper meal was a Passover meal, but I don't think it was. The day of Passover moves each year as it's based on the Jewish lunar calendar, and in AD 30, Passover begins on Thursday evening. AD 30 is the year I believe Jesus was crucified. You'll see how I came to this year as we progress. The Gospels say that the Last Supper, Jesus broke bread. The Greek word here is artos, and artos refers to an ordinary loaf that contains yeast, not to the unleavened flatbread or matzos that the Jews eat with their Passover meals. When Paul refers to the Last Supper, he does not say on the night of Passover. Instead, he says on the night that Jesus was betrayed, he took a loaf of bread. The same word artos is used here. We're inside the upper room. This is a medieval building. This is not the original. However, pilgrims have been coming to this site from very early on. The trouble with a lot of the paintings you see Jesus at a table. That's incorrect. The Bible says quite clearly that the disciples were reclined on the floor, and this would have been the biblical way of eating. Another reason I don't believe it was a Seder meal is that John's Gospel says that when the guards of the chief priests took Jesus to the praetorium a day later, they didn't actually go inside the building, so that they wouldn't be defiled and then could eat the upcoming Seder meal. Jesus dipped some bread in wine and then gave it to Judas, saying, "What you must do, do it and get it over with." Judas left the room to go to the high priest, but the other disciples had no idea what was going on. Jesus warned them that they would all be scattered, and after that they left for Gethsemane.